Shalom Israel, Shalom, Shalom, Brother Nakwam, watching for Israel coming back at you with these precepts and another Monday Night Fire, giving, of course, all honor and all glory to Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach, like Yahushai, double honors to the elect elders of the house of David that's been in this truth for decades and decades, patiently waiting and laboring for the second coming of Hamashiach, like Yahushai. A hearty, mighty Shalom to all of the mighty men of the Most High God, who go out there in the highways and byways, pushing his truth, magnify the ministry, presenting their body as a living sacrifice, and enduring all things for the elect's sake. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the men that may not be out there in the highways and byways as of yet, but they're working on it. They're getting built up in the spirit. They're praying, they're fasting, they're studying, they're being diligent and abounding in the work of the Lord. Shalom, shalom. Shalom to all of the Akwaf out there, the sincere sisters, holding it down in the households, married and unmarried, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, and moving in the spirit of our righteous foremothers, right, Salakia. Shalom, shalom, and shalom to everybody tuning in live on this Monday Night Fire. K-Rock the Don, daughter of Zion, D-Vash Branch, Susan Tillman, Gigi, Calibre T, Dinah Yasha Allah, Todd Shaw, Saladin, right, Muhammad, Luis Fambro, Jadis Delphius, Brother Azariah, Shalom, Vernon Brody, Ancients New, Why Don't We, right? And everybody else tuning in and that will tune in. It's another Monday Night Fire, man. And all praise to Yahweh Shema Bashar for allowing us to do this work and allowing us to push this truth in the last days, man. Time is ticking. Time is running out. The time is short. We're going into current events. We're going to do a Q&A, and we're going to talk about things that are happening on the earth that affect our people and what the Heavenly Father's judgments are on the earth, right? So let's deal with these. I'm going to spend a few minutes just dealing with some questions, right? And after that, we'll kind of move on and go into these particular breakdowns and these chapters, right? So from Abijah, Shalom King, any scriptures / tips on building confidence? All right, let's deal with this. Right now, is this self-confidence? Is this confidence in the truth? Right? And Yahweh Bashmi Awashad, because the word confidence, it means with faith. Right now, when it comes to confidence in the Most High, we'll deal with that one first and foremost as somewhat of a default question. Right? Building confidence in the Most High is synonymous with how do I increase my faith? Right? Because that's what the word confidence really means. Now, when you go to the book of Romans, right, let's go to Romans, the 10th chapter, and we'll deal with it. This is Romans chapter 10 and verse 15, right? Romans chapter 10 and 15. And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. So it's speaking about this gospel sent forth by the apostles, right? Verse 16. But they have not all obeyed the gospel. For Isaiah said, Lord, who hath believed our report? So then faith, right? So then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of the Most High. So one way to increase your confidence, according to the scripture, is to be more in tune with the scriptures, man. When it goes into reading, it goes into watching the videos, it goes into reading these accounts of how Yahweh Bashmi Abashai delivered our forefathers from perilous situations, from evils, how our forefathers like Abraham, David, Azariah, Hananiah, Mishael, Daniel, Job, the apostles, how they all had faith and how they were in particular situations, right? Where their back was against the wall and the odds were stacked up against them, yet these men pulled through, not because of them, but by the grace of the Most High. So a lot of times when you're reading about what our forefathers went through, it stirs up your spirit. It increases your faith. I know when I read particular accounts like Second Maccabees, the 7th chapter, and the 7 sons and their mother, when I'm done reading that, I'm catching fire most of the time, right? A spirit hop on you, right? You believe what they believe. You're inclined to pick up the same spirit that they had, man. You feel like you can run through walls when you read the book of Joshua. You read some of the Psalms and the accounts of David, it make you feel like a man of the Lord, man. Or to stir your spirit up to be like a man of the Lord, man. Right? So really confidence comes through looking at the scriptures and hearing these accounts. And the Most High is going to work on your spirit according to what you're reading about what these men had, the faith that they had and the confidence that they had, and the Most High is going to give you that spirit, right? It's a portion and a gift from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Now, ultimately, the Lord says in the book of James, right? Let's go to James chapter 1, right? Let's go to James chapter 1 and verse 17, right? So, like, let me put that brother question back up, right? Abijah. This is the book of James chapter 1 and 17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. Let me read that again. James 1 and 17. Every good gift is not talking about Christmas. It's not talking about Mother's Day gifts. These gifts are talents. You understand? That Yahweh Bashim Yahushai will impart unto you. And these gifts, like confidence, is a gift. Being able to prophesy is a gift. Being able to exhort your nation is a gift, right? Being able to read mightily to wake up the entire city is a gift. Having wisdom is a gift. And all of these gifts are imparted unto you, not from man, but from Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua. And that's what the Apostle James is reminding the church. Every good gift and every perfect gift, right? It's like you. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. So these gifts, like confidence or building confidence or a gift of faith, these things come from above. You have to inquire diligently at Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and make a petition that the Most High may give you more confidence, that he may give you the spirit of boldness, that he may give you the spirit of faith, right? And then the Most High is going to work on your spirit, because guess what, man? You can read all day, and guess what? The spirit may not sup with you. So you have to go ultimately to the Most High, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter 7, right? And then I may get two more, then I'll move on to the next question, right? Lord willing. Matthew 7 and 7. Ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Right? Salakia. It reads, ask and it shall be given you. Seek and ye shall find. Knock and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth. It didn't just say the Judites. Everyone from the tribe of Judah, if they ask, they receive. Okay. Then the Benjamites, okay, then the Levites, okay, then Ephraim, okay, Manasseh, Gad. No, it said everyone. Who's everyone? Everyone that believes in this truth. Every Israelite, man. Not Edomites and Moabites, not the Hamites and the Japhites, the sons of Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua. That's the everyone. Everyone that asketh receiveth. So if you're praying, if you want wisdom, I'll put it like that. Ask the Most High. Well, I don't know. Who am I to ask the Most High for such a gift? I don't know if I'm with the Most High going to hear me. And, well, I'm so wicked, but I'm in the flesh. And I don't even know if he'll hear little old me. There are so many people. The Most High so busy. You got to take care of the ants. You got to feed the calves. You got to feed the cows. And then you got people you can't think like that, man. Right? Don't count yourself out in this thing. Yahweh Bashim Yahushai hears all of his saints that cry unto him, man. And the Lord said, is there anything too hard for the Lord? So part of confidence is you being confident in your requests to the Most High, man. That's what it means, knock. And you can't knock like a creep, sneak into some children's room, man. Right? You can't knock like, Lord, are you there? It's me, Naquan. Do you hear me? Oh, Lord, do you hear me? Right? I hope you hear me. No, you can't do that, man. This is not some diary. You're not writing a diary. You're calling upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. And sometimes you may go to somebody's house, you knock at the door, they may not answer the first time. Right? They might be whatever. Then you may, right? And then they might come the second time. So you got to keep calling upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? And the Lord want to see how bad you want it, man. Are you just going to knock one time? Well, when nobody's home, you just peel off and go back in the world. Sometimes you got to cry to the Lord, man. Right? You know? Let's get that in Proverbs chapter 2 and verse 6. Right? Proverbs chapter 2 and 6. Boy, this whole thing is good. Right? Proverbs 2 and 1. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and hide my commandments with thee, so that thou incline thine ear unto wisdom and apply thine heart to understanding. Yea, if thou criest after knowledge and liftest up thy voice for understanding. So a lot of brothers and sisters, you're praying for things, but I mean, you're scared to lift up your voice and cry. You got to cry to the Lord, man. Well, what if my neighbors hear me? Listen, well, I don't know. Well, what if my neighbors not get to the door and say, well, what's going on? And we don't care about that stuff, man. A lot of brothers, you're too cool to cry to the Lord. You're too worried about what people think about you, man. And that's why you may not be receiving the things that the Yahweh has in store for you. Right? It reads, yea, if thou criest after knowledge. Hey, babies cry. And they don't cry one time. And lift this up thy voice for understanding. And that could be confidence you lift up your voice for. It could be wisdom. It can be knowledge. It can be understanding. It can be having a more temperate spirit. The Most High take away demons from you. If thou seekest her as silver and searchest for her as for hid treasures, then shalt thou understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of the Most High. So you gotta seek this thing out like your life depended on it. Right? You have to keep going into these accounts, and a lot of confidence really comes through experience too. When the Most High deliver you from a particular situation, it increases your faith. Right now, you believe that the Most High can deliver you from the next situation. Right? So when you go through tribulation or you have adversity and Yahweh Bashmeh makes a way for you, it actually increases your faith as well, or your confidence. Right? So confidence comes through experience. Confidence comes through crying to the Most High. Right? And confidence also comes through prayer. These are various ways to build up your confidence or your faith in Yahweh Bashmeh. All right, so let's move on. Right, and that's a beautiful gift to have, man. Okay, Salaki, you skipped the question. Okay, daughter Zion, how to overcome fear and anxiety. Okay, now these are spirits, right? Confidence is a spirit, fear is a spirit, and anxiety are all spirits. And really, this question, I would answer is similar to the first question, right, that was posed. Because it's essentially asking, well, how do I overcome these demons? Because that's what they are. Anxiety and fear, and this fear has to be, from what I understand, according to this question, it's not the fear of the Most High, obviously. This is carnal fear, and this is anxiety, which are really demons. Now, the so-called white man, clinically, he's not going to classify it as a demon, right? Fear and anxiety, he call them, sometimes he'll call things mental disorders. He'll call things, he has a scientific name for everything, right? A mental infirmity. But these are demons. That's all they are. So now here's the question. How do I overcome my demons? Right? Well, guess what? There are various ways to overcome demons. Somewhat of what I went into before. Crying into the Most High. Calling upon Yahweh, Bashmeh Abishai. Right? Now, another thing you can do is fast. Right? Fasting is a great way to exorcise demons. You have the ability to exorcise spirits, man. I don't care what they say. Right? You watch these movies like Emily Rose and Damien and Omen, and you got these wicked Catholic priests who go in there with a holy water and they're pouring it on people's head, and the demons are burning, and the woman is spinning her head, 360 degrees, and they're climbing up walls. That's fictitious and fables, man. But what is true is that man, the Israelite man, not the so-called white man who calls himself a priest or a father, the Israelite man, even a woman, you have the ability to do something that these other nations can't do. All right. And one of those things is you have the ability to exorcise demons. right? Meaning expel demons, remove demons from you and from other individuals. Now, to remove anxiety, a great way to remove anxiety is to call upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and combine that with fasting, right? Let's go to the classic of St. Mark, right? Let's go to St. Mark, the 9th chapter. This is St. Mark chapter 9 and 25. When Yahushua saw that the people came running together, he rebuked the foul spirit, saying unto him, Thou dumb and deaf spirit, I charge thee, come out of him and enter no more into him. Now, when you're dumb, that means you can't speak, right? Deaf meaning you can't hear. So this man had two demons, infirmities, right? And they don't teach you that in school, that when you have diseases or when you have physical ailments, a lot of times that's because you have demons on you. Now you may say, well, that's strange, I didn't see that. Well, they're not going to tell you that, right? They're not going to, they just say it's a health issue. It started with your blood. Well, these are spirits. Before these things become physical, they're actual spirits. So this was a dumb and deaf spirit, right? So anxiety is a spirit. Fear of man, or fear of what's to come, or fear of things that you can't control, or fear of women, or fear of spiders, or fear of being in a confined space, or fear of whatever. These are all spirits to work on your mind, right? And whisper and convince you to actually entertain these spirits. That's all they're doing. They're working on your mind. These are demons working on you, convincing you and playing on your mind to be weak. And you got to recognize that. You got to recognize that these are demons coming at you. All right. A lot of our people don't know what we're really up against, man. Like I said, we think we normalize these particular things. Oh, I'm just anxious, right? I've always been like this. I have to butterflies in my stomach. I have to throw up, before I talk to somebody publicly. And you normalize things that shouldn't be normalized, man. These are actual spirits. Because Babylon the Great, like we always say, it teaches you to entertain spirits and embrace your demon. They embrace arachnophobia. It's a thing. They embrace the fear of claustrophobic, confined spaces. Oh, you're claustrophobic. Well, okay, well, they embrace. There's another thing, the fear of public places, man. Agoraphobia. They embrace these things. They normalize it. They make shows about it, T-shirts, and that's why the society is so corrupt, because they're into every foul spirit, right? Before I finish that, let's get that in Revelation 18, that they are the hold of every foul spirit, right? Revelation chapter 18 and verse number 1, right? Let me get the brother in here.
Shalom.
Right? Okay. Shalom. Yeah, they actually convince you, and they normalize your relationship with your demon, right? And you got to recognize that too, because a lot of people, you give heed to those spirits. Yeah, I'm just fear man. I fear man. What do you want me to do? He's tall. She's whatever. Yeah, I'm just anxious. I have anxiety. It's just part of my doctor said I just take this pill and that pill. Stop letting the so-called white man teach you to embrace your demon more than you embrace Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, man. Stop letting them do that to you, man. And persuade you that it's okay to entertain and become friends with these spirits. You just take a pill, or you spend $300 a session to talk to somebody, or you just cope with it or deal with it. It is not okay to embrace these demons, right? This is Revelation chapter 18 and 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and it's become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. So this is the headquarters of every foul spirit, right? What kind of spirits? Sodomite spirits, murder spirits, all types of freakism spirits, spirits of uncleanliness, spirits of sacrilege, idolatry, spirit. And you may say, well, those are big spirits. There are other demons too, right? Anxiety is a demon. Oh, they said I got demons. Well, they are a demon. And we have to accept that they are demons. The sooner that we accept that these things are demons, the more inclined and the more haste you will put into exercising and expelling these spirits from you. Now, what is one of the jobs of a demon? Well, the job of a demon is to latch on to you, to destroy you. A demon doesn't leave you until you either die or you get rid of that demon. They're not going nowhere. They're like a parasite, like a tick, a tapeworm, a leech. You understand? A damn flesh-eating parasite, and they feed off of your flesh. They feed off the flesh. They feed off of your wicked thoughts, right? They feed off of when you walk into a room and you see all these people, and that demon get off on that. He's feeding into that, and their job is to be on you till you're destroyed, right? Because what happens if you're fearful? You're going to be destroyed ultimately, right? The Lord said in Revelation, right? This thing is serious, right? This Revelation, let me get this real quick. Revelation 21:8. But the fearful and unbelieving and the abominable and murderers and whoremongers and sorcerers and idolaters and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. So that fear of man demon, or fear of flesh and blood, or fear of beast, and that spirit will be on you until you're destroyed. And then once you're destroyed, that spirit is going to hop on somebody else, right? So we cannot entertain these demons. We can't normalize it. We can't accept it. We can't embrace it. You can't make that part of you. Don't just make that normal. How do you get rid of that? We went into it. Fasting, calling upon Yahweh Bashmi Abishai, prayer, counsel, watching videos of exhortation, right? This is how you get rid of these demons. But you got it, King.
Khan, that's right. And I want to pull the book of Sirach, right? Chapter 30 and verse 21. It says, give not over thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thy own counsel. Because you could be conflicted in your mind what you should do, what advice you should take, you know, what road you should go on, and you start to have anxiety. Your heart starts beating, you start to sweat, you start to feel faint. That's actually a spirit on you, man. And fear is nothing more than Satan controlling your mind. The Lord didn't create man to be fearful, man. You got people just being fearful over animals, fearful over man, fearful over a situation that they know of not. We should put all your trust in the Lord, man. It says, give not thy mind, right, to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thy own counsel. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. And these spirits know their main job is to get you, you understand, to take your crown off, to have you submit unto the spiritual demon Satan, so that you can enjoy the pleasures of life, man, for a season. Whether that be money, cars, jewelry, right, the lust of your flesh, however you feel, you're supposed to actually be joyful. That's actually one of the fruits of the spirit. So if you're not joyful, you're giving your mind over to heaviness and sorrow and death, and you're sitting up there just bowing down subconsciously. You know, the Lord isn't dealing with that. It says, love thy own soul and comfort thy heart. So it's good to comfort your heart, man. You know what? I'm gonna be stronger. I can read more. I can do this. You know, motivation, exhortation, prayer, counsel, all these things uplift your soul. If you know that anxiety by watching a movie, giving heed to counsel or whatever on the left hand side brings you down, you have to offset that. Now, the apostles was catching hell. Now, in them catching hell, there's no account and them just saying, I give up and bowing down to an anxiety spirit or things that will bring forth stress. This Second Corinthians chapter 1 and verse 7 says, and our hope of you is steadfast, knowing that ye are partakers of the suffering, so shall ye be also of the constellation. Verse 8 is the point. For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble. So Paul is saying, look, I don't want you to think that it was a clear road for us. We caught hell too. We was hated. Men tried to stone us. Right? It was all hell with debates and strifes. It says of our trouble which came unto us in Asia, that we were pressed out of measure, above strength, and so much that we despaired even our life. So Paul said, man, I was catching so much hell, it's as if I despaired my own life, man. But this was the mindset of the elect. But we had a sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves. So you don't want to trust in yourself, a doctor, a scientist, Google, a book, right? Your auntie. You want to trust in the Lord. It says, but in God, which raiseth the dead. So, I mean, they trusted in the Lord as they was catching afflictions and despair and catching all type of troubles in the flesh. And that's what we got to do in the spirit. You got it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Now, I was just looking up, what Esau says, right? Esau gives you their way of coping, right? They never say anything spiritual. They say, question your thought pattern, deep breathing. Now, this is from healthline.com. You can look this up on your own. There's no scripture on this. Now, these are physical things. Now, we're not saying that relaxing can't ease your spirit, but these things don't trump what the Most High has written. Aromatherapy, yoga, right? Let's see. Go to therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, supplements, lemon balm, and fatty acids. Ask your doctor about medications, right? So, that thing can actually, fear and anxiety could lead to a lot of things, man. It's a heavy spirit. It could lead to depression. It can lead to seclusion. It can lead to a lot of things. So, like I said, like we really want to harp on the point that these are evil spirits, right? And sometimes, being around people helps too, man. It helps you overcome that. Sometimes, we as a people, we're content with being in our comfort zone. We don't like to step outside our comfort zone, right? And a lot of times you may have somebody who may be shy, like public speaking, then they do it once or twice and it becomes normal to them. They used to have butterflies in their stomach. They used to kind of get anxious and have to use the bathroom and all types of stuff, and now it becomes normal, right? So that, certain things, the more you do it, or, the particular people you're around, it becomes better on your spirit, right? I know that helps people, like I said, with people that are scared of public speaking, people that are scared of particular things. They encounter and embrace those things head on, and then those fears go away, right? And they also see the works of Yahweh Shai, right? And once you see the works of the Most High, then you don't fear those things because you see it. You see who's truly in control, right? Let me get a quick precept real quick. Let's go to Wisdom of Solomon, right? Chapter 17 and verse 12, right? This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 17 and 12. I'm going to start at 11. I'm going to start at 10. This is speaking about the Egyptians, right? Let me get Yara done. Shalom, King.
Shalom.
All right, this is Wisdom of Solomon, right? Chapter 17 and 10. They died for fear, right? They died for fear, denying that they saw the air which could of no side be avoided. So Egyptians actually died of fear well over 4,000 years ago, right? For a wickedness condemned by her own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience always forecasted grievous things. So your mind plays tricks on you, and you start putting scenarios in your mind about what will never happen, right? You start forecasting, meaning I'm speaking about the future, right? Looking into things that may never even happen. Right, what if I get on stage and I stutter and forget my lines? And what if I trip and fall and break a leg and I just won't do it? So that's what them spirits do. They start whispering in your mind, wicked thoughts, man. And you start forecasting evil things, right? Reading on. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth. So let me read that again. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the succors which reason offereth. Now, succor is help. So your reasoning should be that Yahweh Bashmi Abashai is in control. That's your succor. Your succor is Yahweh Bashmi Abashai. But fear is a demon that makes you not trust in Yahweh Bashmi Abashai. That's all it is. It's a demon that goes against the grain of faith and makes you carnally minded and forget about Yahweh. This is why people are scared of spiders. Hey, the Most High made the spider. But that demon came in your mind and made you forget about the Most High, that he made these creeping things on day 6. People are scared of damn public speaking or man, and the Most High made man, brother. What did you forget? Right? So fear creeps in and convinces you that the Most High is not real and that the Most High is powerless. And you're up against some type of creature or a beast that has created itself, man. So it's nothing but spirits working against you. The brothers got it.
Con, I got 2 more on that. Right, this is the book of Numbers, chapter 13, verse 30. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, let us go up at once and possess it. So Caleb, he had a warrior spirit, man. Let's go up and let's possess the land, for we are able to overcome it. So his mindset wasn't a defeatist mentality. I'll never be able to do it. We'll never possess it. You know, we're lowly, we're weak, we're outnumbered. They're giants, they're stronger than us. His mentality wasn't that, man. You have to have the mentality to where you foresee and you overcome those things like our forefathers. But the men that went up with him said, we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. If you have that mentality, you'll never be able to do anything in your life. You'll never be able to pass any tests. You may be going to school. You never feel like you're able to graduate. You never feel like you'll be the type of father or husband the Lord designed you to be. You never feel like you're strong enough to do, like the brother said, public speaking, to become a teacher, right? To give advice, to help, to do the things that men of the Lord with strength do, man. The Lord created man to be strong. Now, you could trouble your own flesh, right? This Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 17. The merciful man doeth good to his own soul. So you don't want to be late somewhere. Oh, I'm late. I'm never on time. And then you punch yourself in the head, man. Maybe I should never even came in the first place. And then you leave. Now you want to be merciful to yourself. You don't want to overthrow yourself because you're not merciful. But there's going to be times where you slip and fall. It's going to be times where you're late. It's going to be times where things may not befall and go the way that you want. But you don't want to bring anxiety upon yourself or fear and meaningless, man. It says the merciful man doeth good to his own soul, but he that is cruel troubleth his own flesh. So you could be a cruel man to trouble yourself, man. Nah, I can't do this. I'll never be like that, brother. I'll never be able to make it. I can't read 7 chapters a day. I can't even read 3. You're troubling your own flesh. You're being cruel to yourself. You're inviting demons and spirits to overtake you, to make you feel like you're lowly, like you're nothing. And that brings forth depression, anxiety, fear, doubt. All of these things, they beat you down so you can't recognize the strength that the Lord has put in you. Okay.
I got a quick point real quick. This is from this is Sirach 30 and 21. I know Riley read that precept. I'm gonna read it in the GNT, but I'm gonna read down to 24. Right? It says Sirach 30 and 21 through 24 out the GNT. Don't deliberately torture yourself by giving in to depression. Happiness makes for a long life and makes it worth living. Enjoy yourself and be happy. Don't worry all the time. Worry never did anybody good, and it has destroyed many people. It will make you old before your time, right? So you want to be careful, man. It'll make you start getting gray hairs. And when people get extremely stressed or anxiety, it does physical things to them, man. It can affect their health. People get ulcers, holes in their stomachs, right? That comes through excessive stress and anxiety, man. Some people get Tourette's. They start getting real fidgety and they sweat and they pass out, those are spirits working on them, huh? They get real clammy and sweaty. They feel like they got to throw up. Their heart is pounding. Have a damn heart attack, man. That's what it says, worry never did anybody good. It will kill you before your time. Right? So the Most High said, okay, I'm going to have this person live 80 years. Now this demon shortening your time, man, getting you gray hairs and making you hasten your life amongst the land of the living, man. Trying to hurry up and get you out of here. Right? Don't let these demons hurry up and get you out of here before the time, man. Right? Just wanted to bring that point up.
Con, mighty points, mighty points. This is First Maccabees chapter 16, verse 6. Let me back off the brothers. It reads, can brothers hear me?
Con.
It reads, so he and his people pitched over against them. And when he saw that the people were afraid, right? Simon, when he saw that the people were afraid to go over the water brook, he went over, it's like he went first over himself. And then the other men, seeing him, passed through after him. Right? So fear can stop you from victory. Victory is right there. Success, loving the Lord, know how to be that better Israelite is right there. But that water, I put fear in them. And it says in Sirach 33 and 20, it reads this. Whoso bringeth, it's like it, that's not it. But the Lord said, let no man have power over thy life. Nothing. Even spirits. Because last time we checked in Sirach 17, it says the world governeth all things. Not that doubt spirit, not your own mind. The Lord governeth all things in the world. That's all I wanted to bring out. Oh, somebody bring out Sirach 30 and 21.
Con.
Okay, Con, you got it.
All right, Con. So, Lord willing, brothers and sisters that deal with that, Lord willing, those precepts and counsel helps. From the Wad Yeshai, can you break down Revelation chapter 12 and 14? Who are the two wings? Where is the wilderness as referred to in this verse? All right, let's deal with it. All right, let's go to it. Revelation, the 12th chapter and verse 14. It reads, and to the woman were given two wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, and to a place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. So the woman is Israel, right? The two wings of a great eagle, you don't want to spend too much time trying to figure out, is that talking about this? Is it talking about that? Is it going into this? Well, the wings of the great eagle symbolize strength and power all throughout the Bible. The eagle is one of the creatures that the Most High made as strength, right? When you go to Isaiah, let me get a precept on that. All it's saying is this, our departure and us being put in Babylon the Great was done by Yahweh Basham Rashad, right? That's the wings of a great eagle, right? When you go to Isaiah, right? Let's go to Isaiah chapter 40 and 31. It reads, but they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. It didn't say a pigeon. It didn't say a blue jay. The eagle symbolizes strength and power, right? It reads, they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. And I got another one real quick. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 11. As an eagle stirreth up her nest, and fluttereth over her young, spreadeth abroad her wings, taketh them, and beareth them on her wings. So the Lord alone did lead them, and there was no strange God with them. So that comparison between the flight of an eagle and their children and its strength and power It's likened unto Yahweh by Hashem Shai and our flight and strength and power that the Lord used to bring us into this wilderness. Right? This is this wilderness right here. Right? Brothers got it.
Con, and I wanted to touch on that. Let's go. I'm gonna go to the book, right? Of Psalm, chapter 63, right in verse number 1, just to show you that this place that we're literally residing in is a wilderness. It has no type of life in it. It has doleful creatures, owls, right? This place has no water. The Lord's given the water and the increase in the latter rain in the last days, but nevertheless, when we were sent to this land, you understand? Let me read it. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 63, and verse number 1. O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee. My soul thirsteth for thee, and my flesh longeth for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. So David said, look, my soul is thirsting after thee, man. It says, longer for thee in a dry and thirsty land where no water is. Because there's no water in this land, man. Hey, the Lord gives the water. It's water, you understand, in Jerusalem. You understand where our forefathers were, the prophets, the elders, or how the Lord designed it to be. But now that we got taken to this land, it's a drought. Right, let me get this other quick precept. Where I want to go to the book of Ezekiel, right, chapter 17. Now, when you read the book of Ezekiel, it's the book of Ezekiel, chapter 17. And I'm going to start at verse number 3. It says, and say, thus saith the Lord, a great eagle with great wings, long-winded, full of feathers, which had diverse colors, came into Lebanon and took the highest branch of the cedar, and he cropped off the top. So, I mean, you got, like the brother said, great strength just represents an eagle. Whether that be Esau, whether that be Nebuchadnezzar in this context, whether that be Israel, just personified as strength, because it conquers the sky. It's the top of the food chain. So you have an eagle with strength coming to a land where it should be nourished. Right now, we're getting nourished. We're getting the bread, the milk, the wine, the understanding. Right in this land, this one we came to life at. That's when it says nourish. Right. Let me get a quick precept. I'm gonna go to Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1, and the brothers got it. So we're actually getting built up and nourished because we coming back from the dead. We're the valley of the dry bones. So as we're looked at as bones coming out of the grave, we don't know anything. You know, we're just a couple of years away, you know, from coming out of the dead. All praise to the Most High. You know, a lot of brothers may have been in the truth 6 months, 5 years, 2 years. We're just coming to the knowledge of truth where the Lord is building us up. Right? This is the book, A Song of Solomon. Right? Chapter 5 and verse number 1. And it reads, it says, I am coming to my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my mirth with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with the honey. So the honey are the sweet things of the scriptures. I have drunken my wine, right? The prophecies and the dark parables with my milk, which are like the commandments to nourish you and build you up. Eat, O friends, drink, yet drink abundantly, O beloved. So the Lord's telling you to continue to feed, get built up, you know, come to wisdom's table and get built up and nourished.
That's right. That's right. This is the wilderness. I mean, can't you tell, man? I mean, think about it. Like the brother said, what are the characteristics of a wilderness? No water, no trees, no fruit, wild beast, right? I mean, this is Babylon the Great all over again, man. Right? Or a wilderness, right? Let me get this precept real quick. I'm gonna go to Isaiah chapter 35. Right? This Isaiah chapter 35, and I'm gonna read verse 5. Right? So the Most High brought us here from Jerusalem, right, to be nourished from the face of a serpent for the times and a half a time. Right? Isaiah 35 and verse 5. It reads, then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be stopped. And that's happening right now. This is a miracle that the Lord is doing. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart. The lame man is the man that was going in a crooked path that was slow to go. But now he's leaping in his truth on this path back to the kingdom. Right? Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out and streams in the desert. So this is another miracle, man. The Lord smote the rock and waters came out during the time of Moses. Yahweh Shai is the rock and waters are coming out during these last days. A lot of miracles that happened during the time of our fathers are happening now all over again. The deaf ears are being unstopped, because people are saying, well, show me the miracles. I haven't seen any miracles lately. Well, hold on, brother. You in this truth. You were blind. You heard the word, and brothers that taught you, they healed you of blindness. You were deaf. They didn't have to stick their fingers in your ears and spit on the ground and do things. But now you're healed of your deafness. You were dumb. You couldn't speak truth, precepts, wisdom, knowledge, breakdowns, understanding. Not by any means, man. But now your tongue has been loosed. And now you're able to speak eloquent things, and you're mighty in word and in deed. These are miracles done by the Lord. You were lame, like Mephibosheth, hot and slow, and you were smoking weed and committing adultery and breaking the Sabbath, and you were not anywhere close to the tree of life. But now you're leaping in the temple of the Most High, like the brother in Acts the 3rd chapter, man. Leaping in the temple, praising Yahweh. These are miracles being done in the wilderness. It says, for in the wilderness shall waters break out and streams in the desert. And that's that living water breaking out in these last days, right? Let me read two more in that. It reads, and the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land. That link up to Psalm 63 that Ariah went into. And the parched ground shall become a pool, and the thirsty land springs of water. And the habitation of dragons, where each lay, shall be grass with reeds and rushes. So this is the habitation of dragons, the habitation of the serpent. And now you have grass growing. Those are brothers coming into this truth. You have reeds and rushes and plants and vegetation and trees all growing in the wilderness, man. Right? So we're in this wilderness, but the waters are breaking out, man. One more point. If you've been in the wilderness too long, you start seeing things. They call it a mirage, man. You know, you start seeing things that's not there. That's what you are in Christianity, right? You start seeing hope that's not there, right? That's where you are when you chase money. You start chasing things that's not real, right? Your mind start playing tricks on you, man, when you're in a desert or a wilderness. You know, so now you're at an oasis. This truth is an oasis. It's like a place of rest, man, in the wilderness. You know, so this is another trait of it being a wilderness. I got one more real quick. Right, let's go to the book of Isaiah. We're gonna stay in Isaiah. We're gonna go to chapter. Right, let's go to chapter 41. Right, Salaki, bear with me. We're going to Isaiah chapter 41. Right, this Isaiah chapter 41, and I'm gonna start at verse. I'll start at 19. Actually, I'll start at 18. Isaiah 41. I'm gonna start at 17. When the poor and needy seek water, and there is none, and their tongue faileth for thirst, I, the Lord, will hear them. I, the God of Israel, will not forsake them. I will open rivers in high places, and fountains in the midst of the valleys. I will make the wilderness a pool of water, and the dry land springs of water. I will plant in the wilderness the cedar, right? Those are like the apostles. The cedar tree, those are like your prophets and men of the Lord. And the myrtle. The myrtle is kind of a low tree, right? But there's still men in this truth, right? So you have different levels of men in this truth. The cedar, the tallest tree. Then you got the shitter tree. You got the myrtle tree that's kind of low, right? And the oil tree. I will set in the desert the fir tree and the pine and the box tree together, right? So the Lord is putting men of renown back in this wilderness. Right, my brothers got it.
This is right. Chapter 15, verse 3. And it reads, he shall be stayed upon her, sluggard. With the bread of understanding shall she feed him, and give him the water of wisdom to drink. Every time you open up the scriptures, it's water. It's a pool. right? You're spiritually getting drowned in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And that was my point. Every day you wake up is really a miracle, right? You come into this truth as a testimony, it's a miracle from you being blind, lame, deaf, mute, whatever other ailments you may have. Now all those things are washed away. But washed away with what? The word, the scriptures, knowledge. Brothers was literally drug dealers. People say, where are the miracles? That's not a miracle in itself. People think of miracles as in like, a dragon coming out the sky and somebody growing wings, somebody having powers. Miracles can be plain, so-called. This is Sirach 24 and 14. It reads this: I was exalted like a palm tree in Gadi. And at one point in time, we weren't exalted. It was base. It was in the dust, right? Consuming the knowledge of this world, which is very dry, and it makes you more thirsty. Like they say, purified water is going to make you more thirsty. That's what they give us in the world, right? But when you have that fresh, natural spring water, hey, you're really satisfied. Your thirst is quenched. So it reads in Sirach 24 and 15, I gave a sweet smell like cinnamon. It's like in verse 14. I was exalted like a palm tree in Engadi, and as a rose plant in Jericho, as a fair olive tree in a pleasant field, and grew up as a plane tree by the water. You grew, right? Whether you believe it or not, you grew in one shape, form, or fashion, being in this truth. Or at least you should. But with that, I yield.
That's right. That's right. All right. And we've done breakdowns on a time, and a half a time, right? So a time is 360 days, right? Then you have a times, which is 720 days, and you have a half a time, which is 180 days. So that's your 1,260 days, or your 42 months, or your 3.5 years, right? Okay, moving on. The Wadi Ashai. Can you break down Daniel chapter 7 to 24? Who are the three kings subdued? Right? Deal with that one. We can deal with it. Right? Daniel 7. These are good questions. The brother going into prophecy questions, man. Right? We're getting prophecy. We're getting some milk. That's why we like the Q&As, man. It's a diverse, man. You go to a buffet, you might want some steak, and then you might say, I don't really feel that right now. I kind of want an appetizer, and you got to get in this thing, man. This is diverse, man. For all souls alike. All right. I just want to read it. This Daniel 7 to 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. Right? You want to go into it, King?
Con. Right. So it's explaining it. So when you read earlier on in Daniel, from Daniel chapter 7 and 7 all the way down, till when you read from about 15 all the way down, it's given the interpretation of the vision. Daniel, he was grieved in the spirit. The Lord gave him the sense on the understanding. When you go to Daniel chapter 7 and verse number 7, it says, after this, I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, talking about the Roman Empire, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and had great iron teeth, right? Meaning it was a strong kingdom. And it devoured and brake in pieces and stacked the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, right? All the other beasts that it was talking about before, right? It says, and it had 10 horns. So coming out of the Roman Empire, you got the common market. Reading in verse 8, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. So out of the Roman Empire comes America. And you know that to be true, because even when you go into it, I did a breakdown on it not too long ago, how America came out of Rome, right? Britain or Britannia came out of Rome. It got its independence roughly around 400 something, right? AD. From there, you got Britain. America got its independence from Britain in 1776, roughly. So Britain came out of Rome and literally America came out of Britain. So tracing America's history, it really is going in depthly back to the Roman Empire. So when it's saying a little horn is coming up, it actually did on a physical level and on a spiritual level. It takes on the same customs, the same government, the same understanding. It moves in that same demonic, wicked spirit, right? It says, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots, and beheld in this horn were like the eyes, right? It's like the eyes of man, and the mouth speaking great things. So when America went to war, right, you had it going against the English, which is the British, the French, and the Spanish, right? You had the French, what's it called? The American Revolutionary War. Con, you want to say something, King?
I was going to say, because I was just going to get the dates for what you
Con,
named.
con.
So the French and Indian War, right? 1754, and you had the Quasi War, right? That's how they defeated the French. And to Arai's point, they bought the French out during the Louisiana Purchase, right? So this is how they took France out of that land.
Con. Right, and you need those dates, and you need that history. That's very pivotal and important going into this. So as you read this, these roots and these horns plucked up by the roots is given the interpretation when you read verse 15 all the way down. We're not going to read that long. We're going to start at verse 23 because it's picking off from verse 7. Verse 23, thus he said, the fourth beast, which is the Roman Empire, shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, right? Because it actually did. And shall tread it down and break it in pieces. It's saying the same thing, verse 7 is saying. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, another shall after them, and he shall be diverse, right, from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. That's talking about America and the wars we just went into. So really the 15 all the way down is the interpretation from verse 7 all the way down.
And to put more dates out there to where he was going into, he talked about Spain, right? That was the Spanish-American War, right? That was in 1898. And then you had Britain, right? You went into that, the Revolutionary War in 1776 and the War of 1812. So those are key dates to show that America took down these 3 kings. It's not talking about actual kings, King Charles and King so-and-so. And no, it's speaking about beast, right? Let me get a quick precept on that, right? In that same chapter, this Daniel 7 and 17. These great beasts, which are 4 kings, which shall arise out of the earth. So those beasts are empires, rulerships, man. So like Arai was saying, America came out and really came into power by taking down those kingdoms. Those were the top kings of the earth at the time, right? When you study history, they had the world on lock, right? They had the world. France had Haiti. France had part of America, right? England had parts of Canada. France had parts of Canada. Spain was up in power doing their thing. They had Florida. They had parts of, they was taking over. But America came out and took them down one by one, man. You know? All right, so let's have something else on that. Okay, next question. Right? My eyes is open. I live in Alabama. Is it wrong that I work for the white man? I mean, no, I mean, I want to make sure I answer this right? Because we don't want to work for the so-called white man, right? Is it wrong? Well, technically, no, because you're in captivity, right? You're in this man's system. It's part of the curses. Now, to a point, yes, it is wrong because we shouldn't be working for the so-called white man, because we should not be breaking the Most High's commandments. We should be in our own land, but due to us breaking the commandments, we're in this man's land working for the white man, right? So let me get a quick precept on that. Right? Let's get a quick precept on that. Right? So technically, yes, right? And technically, no. It is wrong because guess what, man? We're here because of our sins. Right? We don't have pleasure in working for the white man. We don't enjoy it. Right? But is it wrong? Well, no, because you're in this man's system. Right? right? You're in this man's system. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and 48, right? Deuteronomy, and living in Alabama, I mean, well, you know, that has nothing to do with anything because people live in Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, PA, New York, all over, and they still work for the so-called white man, right? Now, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 48, right? It reads, Salakia, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Right. So you have to understand that we're part of these curses. We have broken the Most High's commandments. Right. We have profaned the covenant. It's like in the laws. Now we have to go to the so-called white man for all things, regardless of where you're at. Now, let me get one more. This is the book of Philippians, chapter 4 and 21. Right? Philippians 4 and 21. Salute every saint in Hamashiach Yahushua. The brethren which are with me greet you. All the saints salute you, chiefly they that are of Caesar's household. So you have saints that have to work for Caesar, man. Straight up and down, they had to work for Nero. But they was in this thing. Right? God knows what they were doing in Caesar's household, man. Probably had that big dish with the charger on to take it up, and they probably had to feed them grapes and rub Nero's feet and be a belly warmer. But they were in this thing, right? They were still in the truth, and the Most High is going to deliver them, right? And Paul knew you had men that was in Caesar's household, right? So that's something that's common. Brothers, God.
And let me get this in Nehemiah. This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 9 and verse 36. Behold, we are servants this day, and for the land that thou gavest unto our fathers, to eat fruit, the fruit thereof, and the good thereof. Behold, we are servants in it. So the Lord gave us the whole entire earth. Everything belongs unto us. But yet, everywhere we go, we're servants, man. We got to work. We got to clock in, right? We got to answer, right? Why were you late this afternoon? You got to figure out why, right? You got to answer to him. And that's the condition of the battle, man. These are the curses. Verse 37, and it yieldeth much increase unto the kings whom thou hast set over us. Because this world is yielding an increase. You got all the grapes, all of the gold, the zinc, the brass, the natural resources, all of the cattle, all of the land. It's yielding up all of these things, and they're reaping the benefits of it. It says also they have dominion over our bodies. So no matter how bad your back hurts, brother, if you don't have paid vacation, if you don't have paid leave, if he doesn't sign that permission slip or whatever it's called for you to be able to go to the doctors, you're going to have to suck it up with your back pains, your neck spasms, your arthritis, and you're going to have to go into work because essentially he has dominion over your body, man. We're like nothing more than oxen to this man. He'll work you and work you and work you till you're dead. Next thing you know, he's picking up the next oxen and hitching them up, man. So we're in this society is nothing but livestock and cattle. And they have dominion over our bodies and over our cattle at their pleasure. And we are in great distress. And that's exactly what happened in slavery. At their distress, or at their pleasure, rather, they'll wake you up in the middle of the night and put a damn banjo, flute, a violin in your hand and tell you to just start singing and dancing, man. And they'll have dominion over your body. You don't get any sleep. You got to wake up early. I know a lot of brothers that work the overnight shift. That's off, man. While you're supposed to be getting rest, the so-called white man has you risking your life on the road or whatever you're doing to bring forth money for your family. But that's just a more of a waking up and a sign and a wonder, like it says in Deuteronomy, for us to understand that we're under curses and under the law, man. Right? Brothers got it.
Kind of have one more precept. This is Baruch 3 and 16. Where are the princes of the heathen become, and such as rule the beast upon the earth? right? That doesn't mean Esau has a physical jurisdiction of cattle in Japan and China, but more so the princes, Esau and some other nations, really all the other nations have dominion in regards to the workforce, right? And we're the main provider in merchandise. So, we have to. That's just captivity. No matter where you go, even if you work for Jake, Jake's going to work for Esau, whether you believe it or not.
That's right. That's right. So I mean, it's really not much you could do. I mean, Mordecai had to work for the Persians, right? Tobit was the purveyor. He was the money man for the Assyrians. He was in charge of the money, man. He was like a CFO or something, and chief accountant, accounts payable, right? You had Zerubbabel. He worked for the Persians. He was a bodyguard for the king. Nehemiah, the cupbearer.
Did it go up?
Khan, I think so.
Con. Yeah, all of our forefathers, they were service and subject in one way, shape, form, or fashion. I have a precept. This is the book of Colossians, chapter 4. Bear with me. Book of Colossians, chapter. Oh, you got it, King. Just
Khan. Right, so like the brother was saying, man, all of our forefathers, they were subject to the bondage. Khan, you got it.
it's like it is Colossians 4 and 14. Luke, the beloved physician. Right, so Luke was a doctor. And yeah, that's plain. Our forefathers had jobs, and I'm sure they didn't want a lot of jobs, but you got to kind of deal with it. Even if you're a freelance physician or like your own personal doctor, you still work for Esau. You're not to work for these nations. There's no way you can get around it.
Khan. Right, let me bring this up. It's the book of Luke, right, chapter 5 and verse 27. And after these things, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi sitting at the receipt of custom. So, I mean, the Lord kind of pulled up at, well, Levi just means Matthew. That's another name for him. You have Simon Peter, surnames, and, they had different names, but the same name, rather. So the Lord came to him at his job at the receipt of custom. And he said unto him, follow me. So what if you're sitting up there, you're at Burger King, or you're a waitress, or you're a waiter, or you're at the gym, or whatever profession you have, you're a driver, and the Lord just come to you at your job and say, follow me. And he left all, rose up, and followed him. So, I mean, yeah, we have to work, but once the Lord sets you free, not on a physical level, we're going to be subject in captivity until the Lord sets us free. But on a spiritual level, when the Lord sets you free, you're free from work, you're free from cares of this life, you're free from being subject to go to work, wake up every day. We're just going to follow the Lord to the kingdom, man. We're not going to no longer have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. And some people, I mean, they have to literally wake up, 3 o'clock in the morning for certain shifts. So all of this just goes with the labor, you understand, that we have to be under in this captivity.
Khan, that's right. And Salakia, I got booted out, but when I came back, a lot of the previous questions are gone, right? So I'm only able to see questions from about half an hour ago or so. So if your question was prior to 7:23 or 7:20, ask it again, and Lord willing, we can get up with those. Okay, next question. Let's see where we're at. All right, beautiful questions tonight. All right, I saw one. All right, Salaki, we're pulling these up. Okay, here it is. Okay, from Tim Bevins. It's Ezekiel chapter 44, verses 2 through 3, a cut for the Trinity. Right? Let's examine the matter. Right? Let's deal with it. Ezekiel chapter 44, verses 2 and 3. Then said the Lord unto me, this gate shall be shut, and shall not be opened, and no man shall enter in by it, because the Lord, the God of Israel, hath entered in by it, therefore it shall be shut. It is for the prince. The prince, he shall sit in to eat bread before the Lord. He shall enter by the way of the porch of that gate, and shall go out by the way of the same. I wouldn't say that's a cut for the Trinity, right? You have simpler cuts, right? You're gonna do a lot of breaking down, and your cut should be sharp, right? You want sharp cuts. You don't want butter knife cuts and this thing, right? You don't want to do a 3-hour breakdown. Now you cut somebody, right? 3 hours and you linking up all of the precepts. You're pulling up maps and timelines, man. And at the end, confound it. After 4 hours, man. Right? But I mean, brother, they done missed the point already, man. See, when you chop, you could chop off somebody's big toe, you could chop their head off, man. Depends on how you want to do it, man. When you box, sometimes you don't go for that haymaker at first. You kind of get a feel, they kind of might be hitting the glove a little bit. And that first round, they kind of filling that boxer out, man. They kind of moving around, kind of doing this a little bit, kind of, doing that, and you setting them up, man. You watch that Gervonta Davis, and they set you up, man. They let you throw a hook, they let you throw another one, then they come back with like a mean counter, man. And then that counters the knockout, right? So you want your cuts to be head choppers, knockouts, guillotines, right? Ezekiel 44, and this is just my opinion, is not the best way to cut the Trinity, right? But you know what it is, right? Let me get a quick precept. I mean, there's a lot of precepts, man, we can go into, right? This is St. Luke. All right, let me get this one. This is St. Luke chapter 2 and 52. And Yahushua increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So if Yahushua is God, how did he increase in favor with the Most High if he is the Most High? Right? So that's just one.
Come. And another point, you don't need 4 precepts to break down 1 point. If you need to do all of that, then I mean, like the brother said, it's like a butter knife cut, man. You want to be able to pull 1 precept that's like the dagger. This is the book of Galatians chapter 1 and verse 1. Paul, an apostle, not of men, neither by man, but by Yahushua and God, the Father, who raised him from the dead. So if Yahushua and the Most High are the exact same, and no Father or there's no Son, it's just one, then how did he raise him from the dead? He would have had to been dead. How could he raise himself from the dead if he was dead? So you want a precept that's kind of just straightforward, right to the matter. Because somebody may say, well, what's the gate? Who's the prince? And they'll defer the whole conversation. Next thing you know, it's all over the place. It's 5 minutes of conversation, but no edification.
Con. Right? So that's that, right? That's that. Okay, from outlaw for Yahushua. Shalom Kings. 2-part question. What's your opinion on the 6-point star others use? And was Jacob wrestling with God a spiritual thing? Right? Well, we could deal with that. Now, what they call the 6-point star or the Star of David, and we went into it before. According to I've heard brothers say it's the lily. I've heard the snowflake, the pomegranate. I believe those are the 3 that they go into, right? A lily, a pomegranate, and a snowflake. Right now, according to the scriptures, there is no biblical account of a Star of David, right? Or the Shield of David. That's what they call it, the Shield of David. There is no biblical account of the Shield of David or the Star of David. Now, if you say the Lord said, one man esteemeth one day above another, another esteemeth every day alike, let every man be fully persuaded in their own mind. This Romans 14:5. If you are fully persuaded and convinced in your mind that that is a lily or a snowflake or a pomegranate, more power to you, right? More power to you. I don't see that being a snowflake or a pomegranate. I know there's a lot of history behind that that's not biblical, and a lot of sources that we may have to do just a breakdown on that to confirm and verify that and show, the secrets of those things, man, and these symbols and what they mean, right? So you ask for an opinion, right? That's let me get this precept. Let me get this precept real quick, right? Right. This is the book of Job, chapter 32 and verse 17. I said, I will answer also my part. I also will show mine opinion. Right? Brothers got it.
Come. Fire precept. It's the book of First Kings, chapter 6 and verse 35. So, like the brother said, it's a very heavily topic in Israel. Some people believe it, some people don't. This is where a lot of brothers are getting, the Star of David from. Right? It's the book of First Kings, chapter 6 and verse 35. And the carved work thereon, cherubims and palm trees and open flowers, and covered them with gold fitted upon the carved work. So you read precepts like First Kings chapter 6, verse 35, First Kings 7 and 19. It says, and the chapiters that were upon the top of the pillars were of lily work, and the porch 4 cubits. Now, a lot of people, they got a sharp, like my apocrypha. I don't know if you can see, it's kind of beat up. But, some people will say, well, that's the lily, whatever the case may be, they'll take that right there and associate it with the lily. Long as you're not making some type of diagram and putting a spirit upon it, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Me personally, I don't think that a lily looks like that, nor could I get this symbol from looking like a lily. But nevertheless, I understand how brothers view it. And if that's what you're coming out of the Bible with the mentality of, how you're looking at it to link that up, that's totally fine if there's no witchcraft or no secret spirit or praise behind it.
God, I got a quick precept. This 1 Corinthians 10 and 29. Because, I wouldn't say, I wouldn't put her up there with salvation, whether or not if a brother wearing so-called lily, and he's like, oh, brother, you're not going to make it. So-called star, whatever you may call it. If a brother's wearing it, it's, it's a time and place for everything. But not saying this brother's saying this, but I'll be sure to not condemn a brother or kind of hate that brother in your heart secretly because he wears such items. This is First Corinthians 10 and 29. Conscience say, like a conscience I say, not thine own, but of the others. For why is my liberty judge of another man's conscience? Now this is regarding food. However, this verse can be applied to this situation. Because again, you don't want to, condemn somebody who may have liberty and exercising certain things, such as wearing that. And not only that, we see darkly through a glass mirror. There's only so much we're going to know and understand through the scriptures. It's just only so much because we weren't there back in the ancient world. Maybe they called that a lily, maybe they called it something else, but certain knowledge is just hidden from us, and that's just the way it is until the Lord comes back and reveals even more. And more, is going to be revealed as the days proceed. But as of now, God.
That's right. That's right. All right. So we can move on.
Did we have Jacob?
You said what, brother?
I said the second part of the question.
Oh, we didn't, right? Salakia. Walk the water. And was Jacob wrestling with God a spiritual thing? Well, yeah, he wrestled with an angel. He didn't wrestle with the Most High. All right, let's get that. right? He wrestled with an angel of the Lord. And it was, I mean, it happened. It literally went down, right? He literally wrestled with that angel, but there was a spiritual message, for lack of better terms, that came with that event, or that account, rather. Now, let's go to that account. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 32 and verse 21. I'll start at 24. And Jacob was left alone, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of the day. So this happened at nighttime. You have to put on your spiritual mind when you read this account, right? Jacob wrestled with a spirit until the breaking of the day. We wrestle with spirits, man. We wrestle with demons. A wrestle is a fight, a struggle, right? And we struggle with the flesh. We struggle, people struggle with lust, struggle with the pride, slothfulness, the great war of ignorance. Like I tell you in Wisdom of Solomon, the 14th chapter, people struggle with idolatry. People struggle with doubt. People struggle with any spirit, man. And a lot of people struggle with these spirits until the breaking of the day. Now, the spiritual break, or the literal breaking of the day, is when the sun comes up. The spiritual breaking of the day is when Yahweh Shah returns. Because right now you're living in the nighttime, right? This is the spiritual nighttime where there's no light, where there's darkness, confusion on the earth right now. The Lord said in Isaiah, right, that darkness shall cover the earth. Let's get this in Isaiah chapter 16, right? So there's a lesson to be learned from that account, right? You don't just read it like a white man. Okay, Jacob wrestled the angel, right? Until the breaking of the day. Okay, boys and girls, let's read the next verse. No, we're not. This isn't Dr. Seuss, man. Right? You're the Israelites, man. You got to read. You got to understand that these things are spiritual, right? This Isaiah 60:1. Arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of Yahweh is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So there's darkness on the earth right now. Gross darkness to people. And everybody's attracted to the light bearer, the so-called white man. But when Yahweh Shah returns, he's likened it to the sun that arises. Right? Let's get that. Let's go to the book of Malachi. Right? This Malachi chapter 4 and verse 2. Malachi 4:2. But unto you that fear my name shall the sun. Now that word sun is S-U-N in this context. Shall the Son of righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. So the Son of righteousness is Yahweh Shai, right? And darkness is the time you're living in now. And you're wrestling with these spirits. You're in a struggle until the breaking of the day, right? Now let's go back to Genesis chapter 32, right? You're in a struggle, right? You're fighting against the so-called white man. You're fighting against spirits. You're under the curses for a set period of time. Genesis chapter 32 and 24. And Jacob was left alone, right? And we are left alone, right? You don't have nobody to help us. The Lord said, who shall ask thee how thou doest, in Jeremiah chapter 15. Who shall go aside to ask how doest thou, paraphrasing. So you don't have nations that have our back, that have our support in this struggle, right? We don't have the Edomites or the Moabites. They have each other. So we're left alone until the breaking of the day. And when he saw, verse 25, that he prevailed not against him. So the angel saw that he couldn't prevail against Jacob. He touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint as he wrestled with him. So Jacob was afflicted. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go except thou bless me. So Jacob said, he had this angel pinned up. Really had him in a full Nelson, maybe like an arm bar, maybe a rear naked chokehold. Maybe he had him in we don't know, man. A sharpshooter, a figure four leg lock, right? He had this angel pinned up. We don't really know though, man. Right? I'm led to believe. Well, I'm not gonna go too deep into it. Hey, but he had this angel pinned up, and the angel said, let me go, So you have power over these spirits, man. That's saying you have spirits that came to Yahweh Shai, and these spirits said, "Comest thou? Art thou here to torment us before the time?" So these spirits, they know who you are, and these spirits know that you have power over them. And this goes to those first two questions: how do we deal with confidence, fear, and anxiety? Well, you have power over these spirits, man. You're the only people that have dominion over spiritual things, over demons. You can judge angels, right? You could tell a demon, get away from me. Get away from that person. That demon is going to listen to you. You could call upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the angels are going to come down to you, man. You have power over spiritual things. You have chariots around you. You have an angel that protects you and encamps you. And we're a very spiritual people. A lot of times we forget the spiritual power that the Most High has given us, man. You can actually summon wild beasts on people if you wanted to. Elisha summoned 2 she-bears. You control the beast. Noah controlled the ravens and the doves. Elisha, like I said, he summoned grizzly bears or wild bears, man. So you have power, man. You can summon a lion. Now, are we telling you to do that right now? I'm summoning a lion on my boss, my supervisor, right? No, you don't have to do that right now, right? You have power to stop rain, man. Didn't Elisha stop the rain for 3.5 years? You have power to control the sun. Didn't Joshua tell the sun, stand thou still, and moon, stand thou still? He controlled the sun and the moon by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, of course, man. This is how much power we have. You can control the elements, the beasts of the field, demons, spirits. Yahweh Shah said I can call and I'll get, I believe, 12 legions of angels if I wanted to, man. So recognize how strong we are as a people. That's why we said stop letting these little minor demons just destroy you and vex you all the time, man. Rebuke these spirits. It teaches you the power that you have with Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Jacob said, let me read this again. Genesis chapter 32 and 26. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. And he said, thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. And that's Yasha Allah. Yah is he, Shar is prince, Allah is God. Right? He is a prince of God. But Israel, for as a prince hast thou power with the Most High and with men, and has prevailed. You have power with the Most High, man. You can complain before the Most High, before his throne, and the Most High will hear you. You can call upon the Most High in the bitterness of your soul, and the Lord has sent angels down to comfort you, man. Dreams and visions. You have power with the Lord, man. You're a joint heir with Yahweh Shai. Recognize the power that the Most High is giving you, man. You're not just some nigger and Negro and black man. You're a priest, a king. You literally are a prince, and you have power with the Most High. A lot of people want power with their supervisor and their CEO and with the so-called white man. And we have power with the Most High and with men. And we have prevailed. So, that shows you our lot. Our end lot is that we are going to prevail in this struggle when it's all said and done. We're going to, Jacob, after that wrestling, he limped and he was halted upon his thigh. Right? So, after this struggle, we're going to go through hell, we're going through pain, but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is still going to deliver us, man. And this night season until the breaking of the day. The brothers got it.
Khan, and one more point, touching on that is Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1. And it's spiritual when you get your name changed too, man. That's all throughout the scriptures. It's the book of Genesis chapter 17 and verse 1. And when Abram was 90 years old and 9, the Lord appeared unto Abram and said unto him, I am the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. And I will make my covenant betwixt me and thee, and I will multiply thee exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and God talked with him, saying, As for me, behold, my covenant is with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. This is the point. Neither shall thy name be called no more Abram. So after he made that covenant, walk before me and be thou perfect, he comes before the Lord, and the Lord changes his name. And that's spiritual, man. Nobody's being called Leonard anymore in the truth, man. You got Hebrew names. I doubt very, very, very much that a brother wants to be called Leonard, or whatever the case may be. That brother wants to be called after the Hebrew now, man. We're taking on a different spirit. Like we always bring out, your name means something. Whatever your name is bringing forth, Atazawan, got mighty. You have different names. They mean different things in the Hebrew, right? It says, "But thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee." So when the Lord changed your name, that's spiritual. Let me get that real fast in the book of Revelation, because we all have a name that nobody knows their true name from the third heaven. You may name yourself whatever the case may be in the spirit, coming into this truth, but I mean, the Lord has a name for each and every one of us from the foundation of the earth. It's the book of Revelation, right? Chapter 2 and verse 17. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. To him that overcometh will I give to eat of the hidden manna, and I will give him a white stone, and in the stone a new name, written which no man knoweth, saith he that receiveth it. So, I mean, the Lord is going to reveal unto you things you know if not. He's going to give you the deep hidden manna, the understanding, leaving the second wilderness. The Lord is going to impart unto you things that you never knew. The Lord even names all of the stars by name. Each one of the stars has a name. And yet the Lord said in the book of Genesis 15 and 5 all the way down, number the stars, if thou can tell. That's how I'm going to multiply your seed. So the Lord is very, very strategic, and he will name every single thing. I mean, everything on the earth, Adam named as far as the animals. So everything has a name. So the Lord changing your name, that's real spiritual. So the Lord changed Abraham's name, the Lord changed Jacob's name, and the Lord willing, is going to change our names in the kingdom with a new spirit. You want a new likeness.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So those are good. Brother got two questions in right there, man. You see that? Two-part question. All praises. Okay, Google account. I'm new. Can you explain Acts 10? Now that's what 30. How many verses at 37? 40. 41. All right. Take a stab at it. All right. Let's see. 48. Right. 48 verses. And now we may do a separate cold cut and explain that for you, brother and or sister, right? That asks that, but I know two key points. I'm not sure exactly what your I don't want to use the word angle, what you want out of that chapter. Is it you can answer right now on this live, right? If you want to specify key points, just drop it in the comment board. All right. Is it the vision that Peter had? Is it Cornelius? Is he a Gentile? Right? Is he an Israelite? Is the Most High respected persons? Can we eat unclean foods? So these are key things. Did the dietary law change? Right? Is the Most High not dealing with Israelites anymore? Is he only dealing with the Gentiles? And the Jews are cast off. So we got to kind of figure out what right? But what you actually are going into, brother. So if you we'll answer that once you specify it. Unless Arai, you want to go into something.
Yeah, that's a heavy chapter. It's a lot to go into. Like the brother said, it's a whole lot. Got the vision in the 9th hour. You got, Peter, unclean animals coming down. Cornelius bowing to Peter. The Holy Ghost being, can any man forbade water? It's a whole lot going into that. So, like the brother said, that's a real breakdown right there. So if you want to get specific, you could just ask a specific question.
Okay, so we'll roll through. Okay, Eddie or Ed D, right? How can I ask a question? We'll just type it on the, you go in that comment board, type in your question, and say post a comment. You might hit that little arrow right there or press enter, or and then post it on this live comment board, and we'll pull your question up. Lord willing. Okay, let's see where we at. Okay. Okay, Richard Perez. I have a question. If the Most High reveals something to you, would the Most High prefer you to keep it to yourself? Or would the Most High want you to share it with your brothers? Well, it depends on what it is.
Right.
Right? It depends on what it is. It could be something. Everybody don't have to know everything. Right? Everybody don't have to know everything that the Most High give you. Now, let me get a quick precept on that. Now, if the Lord reveals something to you about your brother and it impacts his life, or it impacts his spiritual walk in his truth, or a family member or a loved one, like if I had a dream, God forbid, that a brother I knew, it was a night vision and the Most High showed me this brother withering away. He got real skinny and he started falling into a deep ditch, and he tried to climb out. Then he got out, and then it was thorns and hedges there. Then the missile came and destroyed him. Right? I want to keep that to myself, man. Every time I get around that brother, I do this. Shalom. That's off, man. That's off. You just look at that brother, you kind of separate yourself from him.
That's all.
You stop dealing with him, man. You block him. Now you gotta let that brother know that, man. Hey, man, look, I gotta tell you something, brother. Right? And then it's up to y'all, brother, to discern what that dream means, man. Right? And it don't mean nothing nice. All right, let me get a quick precept on that. Right? This is the book of Colossians. Right? Quick precept. Right? Colossians chapter 1 and verse 28. I'm going to start at 27. To whom the Most High would make known what is the riches of the glory of this mystery among the Gentiles, which is Hamashiach in you, the hope of glory. So the Most High can reveal a mystery to you, right? It reads, whom we preach, warning every man. So the Most High can reveal something to you for you to warn a brother. So the Lord revealed the mystery of the Gentiles and how to be delivered, and it put a spirit on the apostles to warn them of the destruction that was coming if they didn't repent and seek Yahushua. So if it's something that, like I said, that endangers somebody, or it's something that's a warning for a brother or an admonition, you're obligated to speak up. You can't stand against the blood of your neighbor. That's the law, right? You cannot stand against the blood of your neighbor. You have to speak up, right? And plead the cause of the fatherless and the widow. If the Most High reveals something to you on that nature, right? It reads, and teaching every man and all wisdom, that we may present every man perfect and Hamashiach Yahushua. So something may be brought to you to warn a brother. Something be brought to you to inform a brother. And if the brother give a brother a breakdown, and the brother had these dreams and visions of, with this going into and that going to, and he just keep it to himself. And then he separate from brothers and start his own thing. Well, that's off, man. Right? If a brother gets some type of secret revelation, hey, I want to know about it, man. The brother's got it.
Calm. And another quick point, man. We often have dreams in the spirit, and we talk about it, just to get a understanding of what another brother may see, as far as the similitude that the Most High is showing you, man. So the Most High may show you something, and if you don't ask advice or counsel about the matter, you could think that cloud is really this when it could really be something else. You also have people that break down dreams for you and help you to understand the vision. So the Lord may write it in code, man, and have put it into another man's hands to help you to get the revelation. That's on one point. And this is what the Lord said. This is Ezekiel chapter 40 and verse 4. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold, with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I should shew thee, for the intent that I might shew it them unto thee that are brought thither. Declare all that thou seest to the house of Israel. So the Lord said, look, I'm just telling you this so that you could tell everybody else, man. So the Lord may give you a vision, a similitude, a parable that could be for another brother, man. That brother could be, you know, the stock of corn in your dream. You didn't even know it. Or that brother could be whatever the case may be. The Lord hides a lot of things. But two, you know, you don't want to reveal everything too, because there's certain things that aren't for everybody to know. You don't want to talk to Leonard, man, and start telling Leonard all the Most High secrets, right? This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 9 and verse 26. It says, and they arose early, right? Talking about Samuel talking to Saul. It says, and they arose early, and it came to pass about the spring of the day that Samuel called Saul to the top of the house, saying, up, that I may shew thee away. So like it send thee away. And Saul arose, and they went both of them, and he and Samuel abroad. So he's walking with Samuel to the top of the house. And as they were going down to the end of the city, Samuel said to Saul, bid the servant pass on before us. And he passed on. But stand thou still a while, that I may shew thee the word of God. So Samuel told Saul's servants to pass on, because Samuel didn't want the servants to know the word of God that was intended for Saul. Now, so there's certain things that aren't for everybody. You may having a conversation with a godly brother, and your auntie's in the room, or somebody that can't hold secrets or isn't wise, and they're just very carnal minded. You don't want to be able to be speaking mysteries and casting your pearls before swine too. I mean, if Samuel's a righteous man, there's no fault in Samuel. There's no account of Samuel going to hell off, man. And the Lord said through the hand of Samuel, hey, look, man, tell your servants to bid on, that may eschew thee the word of God. And then when you go on, you keep reading, you know, he gets anointed. And that's not for everybody to know, whatever situation is bringing back. Brothers got it.
Right. That's right. You got something that Yaradon?
Just besides, it depends on what it is, and seek counsel, like Psalm 32:19. Do nothing without advice. So you should definitely seek counsel.
That's right. That's right. All right, so these are beautiful questions tonight. Right, beautiful questions. So let's get a few more. I did want to touch on these reparations they plan on giving Jake out in California, man. Right, they said $800 billion. Right, if you're a resident of California and you're an Israelite, by July you're going to find out if you're going to get, I think, $1.2 million per Israelite out there. And that they're really going to do that, man. So they say. And Jake, I don't know what Jake is going to do with if they get that. $1.2 million. Jake is going to lose their damn mind. You'll spend it all. They know you Negroes. You'll spend that all in a week. Then you'll start killing each other I got that rep. Got his 1.2. Stealing him, killing him for his 1.2 mil, man. You know?
And Salaki, real fast. I don't know if brother seen it, but Dave Chappelle made a skit about it a long time ago, man. Jake getting their reparations. They was buying rims, cars, shooting each other. You seen that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, Jake, man, we if you it's like it's the definition of the gift blindeth the wise, man. You don't want to eat of that and feel some type of void being filled of all of the blood of our ancestors.
Yeah. And if Esau bring up slavery again, it's like you can't say nothing. You got the hush money. They can say, well, hold up, you got reparations, is over. You know?
Yeah, I mean,
that's pretty much shut the heck up money. Shut up. You know, we gave you all this money, so don't bring up slavery again. It's over.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to pull it up, man. Right? California reparations measure approved by task force. So this is a big deal they're talking about, man. Right? This is a big deal. California's plan for reparations to black residents. What you need to know, right? So we'll see, man. We'll see. And I'm gonna get the precept that the brother quoted, right? And I'm gonna read. I may be reading maybe 1 or 2 paragraphs of this. But a California task force on reparations voted this weekend to approve recommendations for how the state may compensate and apologize to black, first of all, we're the Israelites, man. Right? If you want to apologize to the Israelites, not the black residents. Apologize to black residents for generations of harm caused by discriminatory policies. And brothers could cut me off at any time. Right? Or, make a point or bring a precept out. The committee, the first of its kind in the United States, gave final approval to a hefty list of proposals, including cash payments to descendants of enslaved people. And I got Esau talking about that they was enslaved. Esau gonna cash in too. All of the nations, now they're gonna have some Jake in them. 1/8 black. Right? My great grandmother. So this is going to cause an uproar. It reads, reparations are not only morally justifiable, but they have the potential to address long-standing racial disparities and equalities. Right? I want to jump down. Right? Let's actually jump. Not going to read this whole thing. If you want to read this whole thing on your own, you can. I want to jump down. Okay, it reads, so what happens next? So they approved the first round of it. The proposals are far from implementation. So there's still some process that have to be conducted. The panel will meet one more time and send its final report to the legislature by July 1st. Lawmakers will then need to weigh its recommendations. 2 state lawmakers who sit on the panel are expected to lead the effort. Assembly member Reggie, I don't have to see if Reggie is an Israelite or not, right? I don't have to figure that out. We know who never met an Edomite named Reggie, right? Assembly member Reggie Jones Sawyer, one of 2 lawmakers of the panel, told the Cal Matters news site the deliberations will take time, giving the impression that funds will become readily available or that cash payments are recommended by the task force to rectify marginalization caused by generations of reckless policies and laws. So I wanted to get to the point what they want to give out, right? I want to get to the dollar sign, right? Let's see. Bear with me. It may have been in a previous article, but I believe they said 1.2 million per person. That's what they're planning on giving out. Now they're saying 360,000, right? But the point is they're talking about this, right? Right. Let me get a quick precept on that.
I got one. I got one after you.
Right. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus. First of all, let me make a point. The word reparations, right? Go ahead, Yardan. I want to pull up the etymology.
Can brothers hear me?
Khan.
This is Matthew 4:1. Then was Yahushua led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And we're in the wilderness. We covered that earlier in this video. Babylon, America is a wilderness. It's very dry. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward of hunger. And when the tempter came to him, he said, If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread. But he answered and said, It is written, Man shall not live by bread alone, but every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And I just bring that out to say, on another level, we know bread is money, even in certain scriptures. So Jake got tempted by money. That's all it took. He didn't have to offer a country. Satan didn't have to offer him a country. He didn't have to offer him the whole world. It just money. That's how much you love money. You just give up your whole soul and your livelihood for money. That's wicked. That's all it took was money to pacify Jake, the so-called black man in America. The blood, the atrocities, the lynchings. Money just covers all of that. That was the cleansing agent for Esau to wipe away all his sins. Just a dollar that's losing its value as we speak. You know, Jake is very simple. Oh, well, you know, wow. And, you know, and he's speaking about changing the currency at that. So it's just like, it's all vanity. It tells us, Sirach 31, you know, watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. People right now, I know, you know, for a fact, people are losing sleep right now. Can't wait for this million. People getting excited, amped up. People already buying stuff. Somebody probably already bought a car, a house, $100,000 house. I got it. I got the reparations coming in. Speaking to the homeowner, associations person, kind of going to the bank. Well, look, let me take out a loan. I got it. Trust me. People are losing their mind. See what money does to you? It wastes away your flesh. But with that, I yield.
Yeah, and I want to make a quick point. See, the so-called white man waits till his economy is about to crash. Right? He wants to digitalize everything. They're about to they're at their debt ceiling. If you've been watching, they're trying to deal with this debt ceiling, man. You know? So they know their economy is already going down, and they wait to the last second to say we're going to give it. And they might just snatch it away from you, man. And this money can't save you in the day of the Lord. You know? I mean, let me get this. Now, the Lord did say money answereth all things, right? But guess what? This is something coming from your enemy to pervert you and blind you. And never trust thine enemy, man. He's not giving you this money that you could overpower him and succeed, right? There are motives, plots, and plans, and enterprises from the so-called white man, right? Let me get this real quick. I mean, there's a lot of precepts, we're thinking about, but I want to get this first in Ecclesiasticus 20 and 29. Presents and gifts blind the eyes of the wise and stop up his mouth that he cannot reprove. And I got them let's say they get this reparations and they killed 2 Jakes. Jake, you used to protest and riot and burn buildings down and speak up and put that fist in the air and do a Black Lives Matter march and post it on social media. I got you not doing a damn thing. I got Esau doing more wickedness to you than ever been done before, and y'all too busy. Now, I could be wrong, right? But them too busy counting up that bread, man. Spending all that money to be worried about what's going on in the dark, right? What's going on in the hoods? What's going on in the crime rate? What's going on with the murders? I got a lot of people kind of turning a blind eye to it. What would the Negro do with $200 million? $200 million.
By Henny.
The Negro, not an Israelite, from the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, and that's really no different. His brother's minds be bad, but $200 million, it'd be all hell to break loose, man. Brothers got it.
Yeah, I was about to say, Salaki, quick point. And they even joke and make movies about it, man. That's how foolish Jake is, man. I know everybody's saying Soul Plane. He won all of that money, and what he do with it? He bought a big old plane with rims on it, a bunch of whores that's waiting on everybody, and nothing but party. Popeye's catering. When Jake gets some money, they're just gonna spend it up because they don't have any money, man. They never had anything. It's like the forbidden fruit or tasting something you never tasted, and you're just on the edge of your seat, man. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 10, and verse number 27. It says, I'm gonna start at 26. Whereas ye have kept covenants with us, and continued in our friendship, not joining yourselves with our enemies. We have heard thereof and are glad. So this is the so-called white man to Jonathan, right? King Alexander to Jonathan, his brother. It says, wherefore now continue ye still to be faithful unto us, and we will well recompense you for the things ye do on our behalf, and will grant you many immunities and give you rewards, man. So that's the type of spirit that they will give you. It says, wherefore now continue ye still to be faithful unto us. The so-called white man wants you to be faithful in his armies, faithful in his system, the aircraft, Air Force One, Navy ships. He wants you to be in his army, a troop, right? He wants you to be in his government. He wants you to be a puppet, man, to be faithful and unto use, and we will recompense you for the things ye do in our behalf. So they'll recompense you. They'll give you a medal of honor. They'll give you a little thin piece of paper that just got your name on it, man. That just says associate, bachelor's, doctors, scientists, and you feel like you've accomplished something. So when a so-called white man so-called puts his hand on you, you feel successful. He the one that gives you that cap to put on. Now you're a pilot. He the ones that give you that medal. Now you put it on. Now you're some type of athlete now, man. When you've been fast since the foundation of the earth. It's as if he puts you to honor or some type of thing by giving you something. When all of these things belong to us, man. Right? I want to get this other quick precept. So we can't be moving in that type of spirit. Not even say that in the law. Right? Let me get the class. Right? It's the book of Exodus chapter 23, right? And verse number 8. It says, and thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise. So you take money and, you start to think within yourself. You may not say it out loud. You may not, really say it to another person, but you'll start to think within yourself certain thoughts. You'll start perverting judgment. It says, and perverteth the words of the righteous. So now you start perverting different words. The Lord said, let me get this quick precept, one last one, right? We got to be wise to these things, man. He's not giving to you, like the brother said, for no apparent reason, right? To destroy you, right? This is the book of Proverbs 28:4. Now, the Lord just told you not to take a gift, right? Because it's going to pervert you and blind you. This is what the Lord said. Proverbs 28:4. They that forsake the law praise the wicked. So if you forsaken the judgments, statutes, the laws, it's not written in there for fun time. I'll see what I can get into. Which one am I going to keep? No, these laws are going to bring you to life. If you forsake the law, take all of these gifts, all of these rewards, you're essentially praising the wicked. Now, that don't mean that you got on your knees and you put your head in the dust and say, oh, righteous white man. That's not what that's talking about. When you bat an eye to the judgments, you move in a spirit to where it's not of the Lord. It's of the spiritual demon Satan, man. It says, they that forsake the law praise the wicked, but such as keep the law contend with them. So you're going to have the servant to the Lord always contending, always standing up for righteousness, always shaking the hand against the hand of the evildoers. Brothers got it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, man, I'm over here thinking, I'm like, man, you got to really study your enemy, man. I mean, there's so many scenarios and thoughts that cross my mind when I think about this. I'm thinking about, first of all, this devil knows his economy going down with the debt ceiling, right? Let's say this man gives you reparations and put that spirit in you that you'll trust the so-called white man. And these people that get these reparations, the white man has finally got you. Esau has finally let you know that he's your friend and that you are accepted. And these Negroes still go to a FEMA camp. They got the reparations. There's no holding back. He has let you know, or in your mind has committed sorcery for you to trust in him at all times, man. You'll be the first one at his FEMA camps. I give you reparations. What else? How can I ever treat you wrong going forward? I mean, that makes him that much more dangerous. Makes him that much more crafty, man. And he's putting up more and more camouflage and mirages, man. Because, you know, these people that get this, man, they're going to be completely blindsided by Esau, man. Like I said, you'll be in these FEMA camps when all hell break loose. You'll be signing up to do God knows what, man, for the so-called white man. You'll go to these concentration camps willingly because the white man has got you a biscuit, right? Bought you Negroes a biscuit. Now, again, the so-called white man, they have men that deal with forecasting, monthly prognosticators. They know what's going to happen with this economy and what their plans are. And guess what, you Negroes out there, you're not in the loop on what their future is regarding their economy. They know every move, man. These elites, they control this money. They're the ones that caused the Great Depression back in the 1920s. They're the ones that are breaking these banks down. They got a plan and a mission. You Negroes, you're not involved in that, man. So this is like hush money, bribery, deceit, sorcery, witchcraft. Right? You can't look at it. Oh, it's just money. What are you guys making a big deal out of it? That's because you never had nothing. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with that money. Well, if that's your mentality, you don't know your enemy, man. Right? You don't know the so-called white man. Right? Let me get this precept.
I got a quick
brother,
point.
something real quick. Where you are, Don?
When you give a large amount of people money, a lot of that, that's what you call, if I'm not mistaken, you might Google about hyperinflation. Everybody has money. Everybody's able to access certain commodities. I mean, they're going to jump up the prices. That's usually how it works. Because if a lot of people have money, one person can buy everything. So that's why they got to hike up the prices. If I'm not mistaken, in economics, hyperinflation is a very high and typically accelerating inflation. It quickly erodes the real value of the local currency. As the prices of all goods increase, this causes people to minimize their holdings in that currency, as they usually switch to more stable foreign currencies. Something similar happened in Venezuela. A lot of people had money, they wasn't able to spend it because everything else, the goods were so high up, people was burning money. Jake's not thinking about the long term because, again, money is their God. Gold is their God. They can say, well, I don't worship nothing. I'm not getting on my knees. You're watching for riches. You're waiting for it. You're waiting for it. I got a precept after you in Isaiah 46.
Khan. This is Proverbs chapter 30 and verse 7. 2 things have I required of thee. Deny me them not before I die. Remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me. So Solomon said, give me neither poverty nor riches, lest I be full and deny thee and say, who is the Lord? So these devils want to get you full. So you deny Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, man. You think the Negro with $200 million is thinking about the Sabbath day? You give a brother in the truth $200 million, his mind's going to be conflicted. He's going to double back, and he may not be the man that he was prior to that 200 mil coming in, man. Or a sister. Esau want to fatten your bones and flatter you, and you'll deny the Most High. Right? It says, lest I be full and deny thee, because everything. See, the Most High, he's like for lack of better terms, a God of the afflicted and the poor and the forlorn. So when you're poor, you trust in the Most High. You need the Lord, right, to deliver you from your situation, from your circumstances, your evils, right, the perils that you deal with. When you got $200 million, I mean, in their mind, they don't need the Lord, man. They can pay their rent. They'll pay their bills. They got everything that they could desire, right? Lest I be full and deny thee and say, who is the Lord? Or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my God in vain, right? So a lot of Israelites, man, you know, you're gonna it's gonna lead to them. Now, there's no sin in having $200 million, but if you're taking it as a gift and it's perverting your mind and your judgment, right? And that's how it is going to be on these people. And also, they're going to be more fool and deny the Lord. And also, I had another point, but Yardan, I know you got a point or precept.
God, Esau is very tactical to land back off the brother. It didn't take a day for Esau to come over and kind of make Gad go to their schools. And by Gad, I mean the so-called Native Americans, for those who may not know. It didn't take a day. It took time, right? It took a lot of skill. It took a lot of practice, so on and so forth. It took them a long time for them to kind of actually get Gad to submit. That's why you have the old saying, kill the Indian, save the man. This is one of the final steps that Esau has taken to finally obliterate any chance of you finding out who you are or wanting to know who you are. And that's through money, right? Kill the black man, save the man, so-called. This is Isaiah 46:6. They lavish gold out of the bag and weigh silver in the balance and hire a goldsmith, and he maketh it a god. They fall down, yea, they worship. They bear him upon the shoulders. They carry him and set him in his place. And he standeth from his place, he shall not remove. Yea, one shall cry unto him, yet can he not answer, nor save him out of his trouble. Your money that you're saving up in your wallet, your bank account, wherever you standing and holding it, I mean, that's not going to save you. It just won't. You know, when you're sick, hey, money doesn't save you. Money doesn't heal you. The Lord heals you. You know, when you crying out for help, somebody coming to your house, that money's not going to save you. And the Lord delivers you. He confounds the deceived and deceivers. That's as soon as when Israel get this money, they're going to forget who's in charge. And the dollar bill, you know, that's green gold. That's the new gold. That green paper, or blue faces, as they may say. But nevertheless, Israel, you know, you're bound to worship this. You can say, well, I don't know, that's tripping, y'all brothers going. Over righteous much. See, they're being over righteous. Hold up. Jake can't even handle a paycheck. You'll buy a PlayStation 5 in 2 minutes. As soon as you get your paycheck. You'll buy some damn, what did Jake buy? J's for $300. So how much more would a million? A million? And again, it might not even be worth nothing, seeing that everybody's going to have it. But with that, I yield.
Khan, let me get this quick precept. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 24. It says, riches are good unto him that have no sin. So, I mean, you got to be blameless to be able to have riches. Yahweh Shai has true riches, man. He has no sin. You can't give a man in this body infinite riches, man, because his heart will be turned away after other gods. It says riches are good unto him that have no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. Right? So the Lord is telling you it's not good for a man to just be having billions and billions and billions of dollars. Now, if that man is a part of the elect, you know, he may give it all away. He may give it to the homeless. He may try to help build up the churches, and that man has no sin. But a carnal man, a foolish man, an evil man, he's going to spend that up. And a wicked man, he's going to spend his money before he even get it, man. That's how you know you can't give a Negro no money, man. You know, he counted up his paycheck already. All right, I put this amount of hours in, I'm gonna spend this with, and ain't even no Lord willing behind none of it. Just calculating all of his money, how you gonna spend it, what are you gonna do with it, and just forgetting that the Lord is the one giving him the money, helping him out, making him to where he can eat every day. It's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasten greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry bitterly. So the Lord said, in the day of the Lord, people are going to be screaming and crying. Jumping to verse 18, it says, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedily riddance of all of them that dwell on the land. So the Lord is going to seek to destroy you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't buy yourself a secret helicopter that's just going to spin around, in the air until destruction is over. Can't buy yourself some secret cabin or go to some third world country to escape vengeance from the Lord. So essentially, all of this silver and gold, it's just going to be burned with nuclear fire. Brothers got it.
I got one more.
Yeah.
Quick point. Like you say in Luke the 15th chapter with the prodigal son, which is one verse. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It says Luke 15 and 12. And the younger of them said to his father. Now, of course, we know this is spiritual on the right-hand side, but I'm going to make a point. Said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger brother, it's like the younger son, gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living. And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in that land, and it's like he began to want. Right? This is prophecy all over again. We're going to get this money. We're already talking about the famine, right? All the things that's been blowing up. Esau's setting all of this up. He blew up all these plants. He blew up all these chicken hens and cow places. The Domino sugar factory blew up. Everything's blowing up. And then all of a sudden they're giving you this money. And not only that, the dollar's falling. And they're giving you this money. They want to see you spend it riotously to just further destroy yourself. But Jake can't see it. He can't see it. And then when you continue to read that parable, you end up having to work for him, for heathen, or for somebody else. I'll say you had to have a down low dirty job. With that, I yield.
That's right. And I just want to get I want to pull this up. I want to pull up the etymology of this word reparation. Because Jake, your mind not right, man. Right? It's like your mind not right. So the word reparation, right? What does it really mean? What's the root word of it? Repair or act of mending. Right? Amend, compensation, recompense. Now think about the biblical words. Recompense. What's our true recompense? Satisfaction from injury. What is done to repair a wrong? Act of repairing, restore, repair. Now, can money truly repair us as a people, man? Right? Can money truly repair us? Because you get $200 million to 200 million Negroes, and it's still going to be lewdness. You're still going to have Israelites. I mean, you're just going to have rich demons, just rich demons. And that money's going to allow them to fuel those demons even more. If you're a weed smoking demon, you got $200 million, you're going to be a bigger weed smoking demon. If you're a murder demon, you got $200 million, you're going to be a bigger murder demon, acquire more weapons, more guns, and people to be a bigger demon. If you're a whore and you got $200 million and you're not in this truth, you're going to be a bigger whore demon. If you're a Christian, right, you're going to be a bigger fool and demon with $200 million. So it breaks you more than it does repair you. It fuels these demons and these spirits that's in you. And that's what an overwhelming amount of funds will do to somebody that's deprived of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It breaks you down. It does not repair you. Now, what truly repairs you? Yahweh. The Lord said he would heal us and bind up our wounds and give us ointment and make us whole. Huh? Right? Let me get this in Hosea the 6th chapter. Right? Let's go to Hosea chapter 6. Right? Quick precept on that. Y'all about it's about to be the big, and Cali is a testing ground. See, but what Babylon the Great does is they play games, or the so-called white men, they play damn games with you, man. Before they do something mainstream or a wholesale, they pick a people, they pick a place, and they make it a testing ground, and they study the people's behavior about how they respond to the so-called white man's tactics. So California is the perfect place, the biggest state, one of the highest populations. You got LA, right? You got the Bay Area. You got a lot of diverse kind of people. It's like his own country, man. Maybe they want to see how Esau reacts to you Israelites getting this thing, man. Is this starting race wars? Is this going to be like Tulsa, Oklahoma? Right? How are the nations going to respond to this thing, man? What's going to happen in society? Socially, how things are going to change. There's a lot that the so-called white man wants to study when it comes to this. He's not just giving you money and just peel it off, man. This is a testing ground, right? And you people in California, if this thing goes through, right, you're part of this man's experiment. And to see if this is really what they want to do. Now, I want to get this precept real quick. Let's go to Hosea. Right, let's go to Hosea the 6th chapter. Like I said, there's a lot of thoughts in my mind when I think about this, right? It reads, come, Hosea 6:1, come and let us return unto the Lord, for he hath torn, and he will heal us. He hath smitten, and he will bind us up. When you bind up someone, you repair their wounds. When you heal somebody, you repair their wounds. You amend it. You make things right. Because the Lord is the one that has done these things to us, man. Yeah, Esau did it, but really it's Yahweh Bashmi Awashai, man, who has used him to do it. Because if he repairs you with money, everything's fixed. Everything's okay now. Like Yaradon went into, that was one of his first points. He's wiping away all of his sins with the Federal Reserve note, man. And all of his sins, and those are his amends. The Lord tells us in Jeremiah 7:3 to amend our ways. So now the so-called white man is forgiven, and he has repaired all of the wrong that he has done. Now you Negroes that get this money, if you get it, you can't say a damn thing anymore. You better not say nothing about slavery. You better not say nothing about no more murders, no more lynchings. He might start killing you more. Say, you can't say nothing. I repaired what was wrong. So this is kind of dangerous, man. Right? It reads Hosea 6:2. After 2 days, he will revive us, and the third day he will raise us up, and we shall live in his sight. So the Lord is raising us up and repairing us as a nation. Right? The Lord said that. Let me get one more real quick. Let's go to Zechariah. Right? Let's go to Zechariah chapter 11 and verse 14. It reads, then I cut asunder mine other staff, even bands, that I might break the brotherhood between Judah and Israel. So the Lord has broken us, but the Lord now is repairing Judah and Israel. The Lord is building us as a nation. He's restoring us. That's Psalms 23. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. So only the Lord can restore you. And when you restore something, you make it back to its first estate. If I have a watch and it's rusty and it's beat down and the hands don't work and the links are broken up and I take it to the watch guy, he has to restore it, which means he has to make it back to how it was when I first bought it. The hands must work. It has to tick. The gears got to work. The links got to work. It has to have a shine and a luster to it. Otherwise, I don't want it. You think $200 million is going to restore you back to your first estate? Like I said, it's going to make you more of a demon, man. Brothers got it.
Khan, it's the book of Jeremiah, right? Chapter 18 and verse number, let me get straight to the point. Verse number 6. O house of Israel, cannot I do with you as this potter? Saith the Lord. Behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. So the Lord said, look, he works a work on the potter. And let me just read it real fast. Verse number 2 says, arise and go down to the potter's house, and there will I cause you to hear my words. Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheels, and the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again another vessel, as seemeth good to the potter to make it. So whether the Lord enlarge you, and if you know anything about pottery, you control that vessel. Whether you make it fat, you want a big pot, whether you make it real skinny, whether you make it fat, whether you make it tall, whether you mar it and destroy it, whether you clunk it back up to its first estate, which is clay and nothing, or whether you make it glorious, man. It's all in the potter's hands. So if the Lord is going to mar us, break us down, destroy us, that's the work of the Most High. Now, for somebody else to come and paint up a broken vessel or a marred vessel, just to put a little bit of paint on it to take away how ugly or marred it is, you'd be foolish to think that that's the estate you're supposed to be in. When the Lord is going to shape us in the last days like the potter and make us back from the days of old. Verse 6, O house of Israel, cannot I do with you as this potter? Saith the Lord, behold, as the clay is in the potter's hand, so are ye in my hand, O house of Israel. So the Lord is saying, plain upon tables, that the Lord is going to be the one to build you up, break you down, enlarge you, make you smaller. All of that's in the hand of the Lord. He's the potter. So you can't give strength into the so-called white man, make him your God, and you depend on him. That's Hosea, the 2nd chapter. The Lord said, man, go to your lovers, man, that are giving you your corn, your wine. You don't want to feel fed from everybody else, all of your different lovers, all of the different nations. They don't want to sustaining you and building you up and giving you your corn, because the Lord is going to slay you with thirst. And he's going to put you in the hands of your lovers. You're going to actually see who's been feeding you and helping you and building you up all this time. You got it.
Con. And, $800 billion, or now, I believe the article's a little older. I believe now they're saying, now I don't want to play this. They may, you can watch it on your own. But now they're saying they're going to give it till July. They already passed the first round, right? Then they may do the second round. Or this place could go down, man. Right? This could just be a ploy so you can keep trusting in this man's system, thinking that they're going to do something good for you, man. Now, I was watching this live, and they were talking about this reparations. There was some Edomites talking about it. They had a podcast, and when it Edomites, they said, well, they're thinking about giving black people reparations. How do you feel about it? And all of the people on the comment board, I mean, they had to been the nations, man, but because it was nothing but hatred coming out of them, man. Are we going to take it? They not going to know what to do with it. They a fool. So they was getting them. Now, our reparations is blood. That's how you repair and make things right. That's Numbers 35 and 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for a blood that defileth the land. And the land cannot be cleansed but by the blood of him that shed it, paraphrasing. Right? So the only way to really amend things is your blood got to be shed. Your blood got to be shed, man. That's scripture. Right? That's law. Right? Let's get this. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 19. Right? This is first I'm gonna get Exodus. This is Exodus chapter 21 and verse 24. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning. It didn't say burning for money. It didn't say eye for money. You had slaves that lost their eye, lost their tooth, had their hand chopped off. They got caught reading, foot chopped off if they ran away, burned and lynched for no reason, wounded and beat out of the so-called white man's sick, ungodly pleasure. Strike for strike. That's them whips and beats. It didn't say strike for money. Strike for 1.2 mil. Strike for 200 million. It said eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, stripe for stripe. Right? Let's get another one real quick. The Lord said burning for burning. Right? Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. Right? Let's go to chapter 19. So you doubles, man, that's the law, man. I want your eye. We want your tooth. Right? We want your foot. Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 21. And thine eyes shall not pity, but life shall go for life. See, that's the law. That's reparations in the eyes of the Lord. When you do something wrong to repair it, you gotta cough up what you cause your brother to lose. That's all throughout the Bible. That's all throughout the Bible. Now, there's only one instance where you have to when you go to Exodus 21, you have to cause a man to be thoroughly healed. And you have to kind of pay for his time that he lost in the business. But other than that, guess what? The Lord said, thine eye shall not pity, but life shall go for life. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot. Right? So you chopped off our foot, we're going to chop off 2 of your feet because you're going to get double. You took one of our eyes, we're going to take both of your eyes. You burnt our son, we're going to burn your father and your son and your nephew, man. You did this to our woman, hey, we're going to do this to yours, man. Eye for eye, man. That's what we want. I don't want that, man. You know? We don't want that, man. They tried to give, let me get one more real quick. This is the book of Daniel. Right, let's go to Daniel 5th chapter. Right, this Daniel chapter 5 and verse 20. I'm going to start at 20. Let's see. I'm going to start at, it's like I want to jump up real quick. I believe this is what I want. This Daniel 5 and I'm going to start at 16. This is what Belshazzar told Daniel. And I have heard of thee, that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck and shall be third ruler in the kingdom. So he said, I'm going to give you a chain of gold. You're going to be third ruler in the kingdom and you're going to have clothed with scarlet. But what did Daniel say? Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself and give thy rewards to another. Let me read that again. So Daniel had integrity, man. And guess what? Daniel had the right to get those things. It's not as if he didn't earn that. He was going to break this thing down. He could have had that gold chain and that scarlet, and he could have been third in the kingdom. It's not about that, man. To the men of the Lord. They have integrity. They trust in Yahweh. That's why Daniel said, then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation. You see that? So that's how our forefathers got down, man. Hey, Daniel didn't even drink the wine, man, or eat the food of the king. So Daniel, he was in a different spirit. But the brothers want to go more into that. They want to bring out closing precepts.
I have one more point. Precept. It says Isaiah 30:1, the classic. Woe to the rebellious children, said the Lord, that taketh counsel. And that's what we saw. They have a council. Literally, they're having a council whether or not how much money they should receive, the reasons why. They have the spokesperson, so on and so forth. They take their counsel, but not of me, and that cover with the covering, but not of my spirit. Right? The spirit of the Lord isn't money. Right? I mean, it's plain, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that they walk to go into Egypt and have asked not of, it's like at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. That's what Jake is doing right now. They're trusting in the shadow of Egypt. Right now, people want to stop going to church Not that you learn anything from church, but they're going to lose their zeal, that is, from the Lord, once they receive this money. Because, and I did a cold cut on this earlier this year, maybe a few months ago, but a lot of the number one race that doesn't believe in the Most High is Esau in America. And the reason being is because they don't go through affliction. Because of what? They have money. They don't have no worries. So when you get this money, you're going to feel like you have no worries. You're going to feel like you're in the kingdom, right? And then that's going to what? Result in you not believing the Most High. You want to tell yourself, why do I need the Most High? I have money. I can get women, like girls, I can get food, I can get shelter. Why do I need the Most High now? That's what's going to go on through Jake's head. That's why a lot of Jakes can't be, can't have money. But with that, I yield.
Come, mighty point. Right, I'm unless brothers got anything else, who's gonna bring out Revelation? Come. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 3 and verse number 2. It says, "Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die, for I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh." Right, this is a very deep precept. I bring it out all the time, because it's summing up a lot of the scriptures in one precept. You have to be watchful. That's a commandment. It's not something that the Lord is giving you advice on. You have to keep watch. Keeping watch isn't watching once every week. It's watching constantly every day. Make a schedule if you have to, man. Whatever you need to do to protect your soul and keep yourself, as diligent as you can, physically, mentally, spiritually, do that, man. Because, you never know how close you are, essentially, from falling out the truth. You never know how much mercy you actually have. There's no account of your mercy cup, and then you view it every day, and it's one drop less, one gulp less, one cup less, and then now you're getting in the danger zone. No, nobody knows. You could wake up out of the truth tomorrow, man. I've seen plenty of brothers that have been on fire, and the Lord blew out their candlestick, man. So being watchful is not only over your spirit, it's in prophecy, it's in your households, it's being your brother's keeper, and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. And that goes with heavy examination. If you're not doing that, then you're going to die off slowly. You put yourself in a situation and predicament to go back into the grave because you wasn't diligently hearkening and or the Lord, giving you the understanding through brothers, counsel, videos, right, dreams. And the Lord speaks to you, man. The Lord doesn't want any of us to perish. He wants us all to come to the light and the understanding. But through slothfulness, hatred, envy, and wicked spirits, we just fall, man. We faint, and we can't be doing that. It says, "And I have not found thy works perfect before Yahweh. Remember, therefore, how that has received and heard." Remember the first love. And that's what you got to go back to. That's what keep me, level, a lot of the times is examination and remembering the first love. We actually got to remember the first precept we read, go down memory lane, like they say, man. Just got to be ravished with these scriptures. And whatever's preventing you from that happening, your wife, your job, examine that, man. Go harder. Make another schedule. Tell somebody I'll see you later, man. Whatever you got to do to make sure your spirit is ravished, you want to do that because you don't want to serve other gods. It says, "And repent, hold fast and repent. If therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come at thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee." So you're not going to know when you're chiefly relaxing, you're chilling, your spirit is in folly and vanity and sin. The Lord is going to visit you. The Lord said through the hand of David, "You shall visit me by night and thou shalt find nothing." Paraphrase in Psalm chapter 17, 3 all the way down. So you got to make sure that you're keeping watch and being diligent and making sure that you're making your body living sacrifice for the Lord. Brothers got it.
This is Luke chapter 7, verse 44. And it reads, "And he turned to the woman and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I entered into thine house. Thou gavest me no water for my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. Thou gavest me no kiss. But this woman, since the time I came in, hath not ceased to kiss my feet. Mine head with oil thou didst not anoint, but this woman anointed my feet with ointment. Wherefore I say unto thee, Her sins, which are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But to whom little is forgiven, the same loveth little. All right, so you got to ask yourself in these last days, are you really truly loving the Lord? And to know what the Lord loves, you have to read. That's why it says, blessed is he that readeth. You have to know what he loves. You have to know what he hates to make sure that you're obtaining the right attributes and make sure that you're rejecting the wicked attributes. But again, the only way to know what he loves is to read. So if the Lord say he loveth the contrite heart, like it says in Isaiah 57:15, and he dwells with them and riseth the humble, who's paraphrasing, then remain humble, remain contrite in your prayers, move in that fruitful spirit, right? These are some certain ways that you love the Lord, especially keeping commandments, of course. However, you've been slipping a whole lot. You clearly don't love the Lord, especially if you slip on purpose. Right? Therefore, your sins will be still there. It's going to remain. You understand? You're still going to have a filthy garment. And you don't want to have a filthy garment when the Lord returns, or else you're not getting to that chariot. You're not seeing the pearly gates, as he said. But with that, I yield.
God, and I'm gonna get the classic. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 22 and verse 12, right? Revelation chapter 22 and 12, and it reads, and behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me to give every man according as his work shall be. So the Lord is coming quick, man. I mean, there are things unfolding. And he's saying that, and the Lord means that. That's not an accident. He didn't slip up and mean to say, well, I'm gonna kind of take my time. He said, I'm coming quickly, man. Right? Things are happening, things are moving. Time is flying. It's already May. It's already damn near the middle of May. Already, man. It was just January. Now it was May. Right? So time is flying, things are speeding up, prophecies are unfolding. And if you've been circumspect, you're watching the Most High move. Everything's coming up to its expected end. You see all of these prophecies unfolding. You see how the Most High is using the nations. See how the Most High is showing you the decline and the banks collapsing. See how the Most High is showing you the economy crippled. He's showing that this place is going down, man. Linking up the nations, and therefore the kings of the east are forming. The Western European countries are separated from America. I mean, it's plain before your eyes. The Euphrates rivers drying up. You got the earthquakes. You had the seditions. You still got seditions. They're killing the police in France. They still show. I mean, all hell is breaking loose on the earth, man. All hell is breaking loose on the earth, and things are unfolding. The Lord is going to reward you according to your work, man. So you have to ask yourself, where is my work at, man? Right? How much effort? What is my work ethic? Right? Work ethic is pivotal, man. How diligent are you in this thing, man? Right? So, brothers have to sit there and ask yourself, how much work are you doing? Alms is work, right? Taking care of the poor is work. Calling the brother and checking on his spirit is work. Praying for brothers and sisters and the nation is work. Fasting for brothers' sins is work. Teaching is work, right? There's manifold works that can be done in this truth, man. Right? Going a mile with a brother, going twain with him, he asks you to go a mile. Right? All of these things are manifold works, man. And we have to sit there and really see in each aspect of this truth, where is our work at? Because the amount of work that you do shows how much you really believe in this thing. Right? Again, Apostle James says, show me your faith without your works, and I'll show you my faith by my works, man. Right? So, brothers, keep that in mind. But with that, we're going to close up, giving, of course, our honor and glory to Yahweh B'Shem Mashiach Shai. A quick announcement: the Day of Simon is this week, right? The Day of Simon is this week. I believe was at the Salaki. Let me get the exact date, right? From the 11th, if I'm not mistaken. Right? Let's just put this out there. So, brothers, mark your calendar, man. Mark your calendar. May 11th at sundown is the Day of Simon. Right? May 11th at sundown is the Day of Simon. Right? Brothers may do cold cuts, do videos on that. If you don't know about the Day of Simon, being First Maccabees, Second Maccabees, reading about who Simon is, right? Seeing how Yahweh Shai set him up. Keep that feast day with mirth and joy, right? But with that, we're going to open up the floor Q&A, like we always do. The conference call to call in for brothers and sisters that have questions. That number's posted on the screen: 213-603-9096. That PIN number is 94809-305. Right? But with that, Brother Naquan.
Shalom, Brother Rai.
Brother Yardan.
Kwam Yashalom. Shalom.